Welcome to the podcast, Claim Your Excellent Life, with your host, Suzanne Kellner-Zinck, where she helps professional women learn how to be happy. Suzanne will teach you how to do this through building high self-esteem, relaxation and calm, and good, healthy relationships. Tune in every week as Suzanne shares effective strategies to help you claim your excellent life with happiness techniques, self-esteem building exercises, relationship tips, and relaxation information. Make sure to head over to dawningvisions.com to subscribe to the newsletter to receive your keys to happiness, as well as other useful free gifts for you.
In this episode of Claim Your Excellent Life, we are speaking about bringing love to all you do. I was listening to a podcast this morning where the subject was about just this. We have a world now where people believe that they have relationships with folks that they interact with on their Facebook pages or on their LinkedIn pages or on Snapchat or wherever it is that people do their internet changes on. And unfortunately, in a lot of these cases, you don't know these people. You think you know them. But I challenge you to tell me anything about who they are as people, because the reality is that you don't know most of these people. You might know some of the people because, you have your friends on your Facebook that are you start with your real friends in life and your family members and these kinds of people. But you don't honestly know these people. And this woman was talking about the fact that so often we say that we love these people who we call our family, and yet we do things to hurt them every day and take no acknowledgement for it. Like some nasty comment that goes right underneath the person's skin and truly hurts them to the quick. And the damage that can cause in a relationship. Worse is when you're doing this to your kids, making sarcastic or demeaning commentaries to them without realizing, especially if they're between the ages of 0, 8, 9 years old, that stuff goes into their unconscious mind where it lives. And then they become adults who have depression or eating disorders, anxiety, or something going on in their lives because of the damage that was done when they were younger. So what I'd like you to think about during this podcast is, how are you actually treating the people who you say you love and care about in your life? Are you present for them? Do you actually listen to what they have to say and then comment based on what they told you? Or are you in your mind thinking about the next thing you're going to say to retort instead of paying attention to what they're saying? Are you a person who needs to get even? I was out with this guy who I met on Craigslist who was busy telling me how with his nappy hair, and it is very kinky hair, when he was younger, he was made fun of by other boys who called him nigger. Back in the day, he's 61 years old, so that was the term people used back then. And how proud he was to punch these people out. I'm not interested in people who feel like they need to get even with folks to get a point across. Especially if you're 61 years old and you're talking to me about what happened when you were 8 or 9 years old. Where is the maturity in this conversation? I'd rather have you tell me how you learned how to talk to people in a reasonable fashion once you grew up, or how you walked away from those people now. That's what I want to hear about. And I'd like to compare that to a conversation that I had with another gentleman who I've not met yet, but who answered my Craigslist ad, who is a songwriter. He's studying Qigong, he's taking dance lessons, and he's learning how to sail. This is a person who's living his life. And so the conversation that we had was about the fact that he was working on writing a song. And the song came up because he had a conversation with a homeless woman. I think it was a homeless woman. Might have been a homeless guy. I'm not sure. But the point was that this person was telling him how boring it was to be homeless. Once you find your food and once you have a place to sleep, there's not a whole lot to do during your day. And so the song lyrics that he was coming up with had everything to do with the loneliness and the boredom of being a homeless person. And then he was talking to me about the music, and he was thinking about the type of music that he wanted behind it, In this case, it was going to be blues music, right? Because that's what blues is. It gives you that kind of sad quality to it. Then he wanted to have the drummer in there, but he wanted the drums to be slightly behind the rest of the music because of the depressed, slow feeling people have when they're homeless, at least as spoken about by this person who he had spoken to. And that was such a better conversation because we're talking about ideas, we're talking about creativity, we're talking about the necessary understandings of how one thing works with another thing to make a piece of art actually work. In this case, we're talking about music. It was a wonderful conversation. And I was excited about the conversation because I don't have those skill sets. So it's a marvel to me in how people are able to do these things. I mean, seriously. So what I want you to think about is how are you being? Because this is the other thing. This is also an interesting thing that I've learned in this time that I've been doing my Craigslist ads to find people to engage with, to meet, to become friends with, and maybe date if they meet the parameters that I'm looking for. And I do have many parameters around this. For my own safety, my own intelligence, and my own sanity, I have a couple of Facebook pages. Actually, I have 5. No, I actually have 6. I have 6 Facebook pages. And one of them is called Learnings from My Journey because it goes along with the book that I wrote called Learnings from My Journey, which anyone can get on Amazon.com for $8.99. It has a very bad review because someone got really upset because I wouldn't tell him where his ex-wife was. So he put up that review. And that's what that is. So this is a person who knows me a little bit but wasn't happy, so he got even with me in this way. Just to give you an idea how much you can actually respect the negative reviews that people are giving in different places, unless they have really good reasons. In any case, I put up this posting on my Facebook page, Learning from My Journeys, and it was all about my trials and tribulations of trying to meet somebody through Craigslistings, where you're going to find the lowest of the low, but I've also found that you can find some very intriguing individuals there. It's not all the scum of the earth. It really isn't. I'm not a scum of the earth, and I'm on there. At least I hope I'm not a scum of the earth. Anyway, the bottom line here is that I got a response from my cousin Penny, who I haven't seen in years. She's quite a bit older than me. And her main comment to me was something to do with the fact that she thought I was very brave to try online dating, that she just wants to meet people in person. Well, I meet people in person through my business and all the networking I do. And I've gone to, I don't know how many seminars and trainings of like-minded people, and it just doesn't work that way. It's not the context in which to meet people, although I do understand that people like my ex-trainers, they met where one was doing the training and the other one was a trainee, and they ended up getting married, and they've been married for a long time. And they work together, and it works great for them. That would be great if something like that worked for me. But so far, no luck. And then there was another person who said that she was fascinated. She's married the soulmate for herself, which is great. Accolades to her for that. And yet she was fascinated because she has a lot of single clients. Now, I don't know what she does for her business, but I'm glad she's learning something from this experience I'm going through. And then the last response that I received was from a woman who said that it was totally unsafe to do this and to watch out for myself, to which I said, yes, one does need to be rather discerning in terms of who you decide to meet, where you decide to meet them, and how to go forward from there. I am very well aware of this, being a person who works with abused women in my practice. One, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 years ago, who traveled the hour to come see me in my home office, who had dated a man for 10 years, got married, and he was a sociopath. And she never picked up on it until after I started pointing out some of the symptoms of sociopathy. She had told me that her previous therapist had told her the same thing about this gentleman she had lived with all these years. Not a good person to be married to, and certainly not someone you want to be living with in your home. Well, we were able to get her divested of him and the home, and she's starting over again. But my point is, we're only going to be as safe as we allow ourselves to use our minds to be safe. And 1/3 of all the marriages happen as a result of online dating, because that's the way people meet people today. One of my sisters and my ex both met their spouses through online dating. So it is a viable way to go these days because people are busy running around. And that was another point that this lovely Mrs. Miller brought out. Why are we so busy running around like lunatics, doing this and doing that? Why aren't we taking time to figure out what matters? And she made it very clear that it's not about money, because most of her marriage, they had no money. It was about playing creatively out in the yard with her kids, letting their imaginations go wild. It was about reading a half an hour every night to her children and being present for them. Really listening to what they had to say. Going back to the simple things where we actually are connecting with people on a healthy, positive level. Which brings me to my story of when I met with my client on Saturday morning. We met at a Starbucks near our homes. We both live pretty close to one another. And we were discussing her new job. She just got promoted. And I was giving her some feedback in terms of how to work with her boss to give him what it is that they both want. Basically to build a business because she's a sales rep now and needs to make sales closings. And that's what brings him money as well. After the meeting, there were these 3 young girls who were outside the Cricket cellular phone store who were handing out flyers for folks who might be interested in their service. I don't know why there had to be 3 of them there, but there were 3 of them there. And the African-American girl, and these are probably kids in their late teens, early 20s, I'm guessing, had told me that she wanted to come over and say hi earlier, but one of her coworkers said, probably not a good idea, you don't know why they're there. And then she had told me that she had felt a really large aura coming off of me. One of the other girls had asked me what I do for a living, because I said, yeah, that wasn't a good idea to come and intervene at that time to say hi, because I was talking with a client of mine, so that got into the whole concept of, what I do for a living. So I told them that I help people to get rid of their emotional baggage. In this case, we were dealing with someone who's come long and far and doesn't have her emotional baggage anymore, but is dealing with work situations. So it's really becoming more of a business coaching kind of thing instead of a hypnosis for losing the emotional traumas kind of thing. So another one of the girls said, I have a problem with driving, so I might need your services. And I told her, I really love helping the kids from the hood, such as my client came from the hood. She's a Mexican-American. Her parents came over here and worked their butts off in order to give their kids what they had. And I am so happy and grateful to be able to help these kids to really move on in their lives. Like this one is working her way through school and doing great for herself. And so another one said, I just feel so happy to know that you're out there in the world doing that work. And that's what I want to end with. This is what our life is about. It's about giving unconditionally, sharing ourselves unconditionally with those people who show respect, maybe awe, for who you are and what you're doing in this world. Because they want to get to know you for who you are. Versus those people out there who are so angry and so distraught that the most they can do is write some kind of negative something in response to your Craigslist ad because they don't know what to do with themselves anymore. They have problems. Or the people who need to get even because they don't like the answer that you gave them as to why you can't tell them where their ex-wife is, because this is the person who created so much damage in their lives and is continuing to create the damage, and it's not healthy for them and they need to be away from them. So think about who you're being, while you're being, with the people that you're interacting with each and every moment of each and every day, and most especially who you're being in your own mind, the thoughts that you're telling yourself. And if they're not good, happy, positive thoughts, my suggestion is to get on the phone with someone who knows and loves you and will let you know why you're special and why they're a friend of yours. Someone who'll make you crack up or put on a comedy or listen to something that will engage your brain in some way that will help you learn something of significance like I do every single day, morning and night. These are the things that one needs to do to counterbalance those negative thoughts that we have in our head. Yet 60,000 thoughts a day, someone said. And more than 2/3 of them are negative thoughts. You have to do something to counterbalance that stuff so that you're not in other people's faces in a negative way. And that's the last thing you want to be doing. Because the way to a happy life is our relationships. Healthy, fun relationships. Doing fun, exciting adventures, either of thought or seeing places, however you do that in your life. That is what helps you have a life worth living. I want to thank you for spending your time with me this time. Until next time. If you had found the information that we have shared with you here on Claim Your Excellent Life to be helpful and interesting, please do us a favor of giving us a rating on iTunes. We hope it will be 5 stars, as well as a review. Doing both these acts will move the podcast up in the ratings on iTunes so more people will be able to find us. Also, please do us the favor of letting your friends and colleagues know about this podcast so they too can gain the knowledge that we're sharing here. We'd like as many people as possible to learn from what we have to give here. And we thank you for your time and effort in doing so.
Thank you for listening to the podcast, Claim Your Excellent Life, with your host, Suzanne Kellner-Zinck, where she helps professional women learn how to be happy. Suzanne teaches you how to do this through building high self-esteem, relaxation and calm, and good, healthy relationships. Tune in every week as Suzanne shares effective strategies to help you claim your excellent life with happiness techniques, self-esteem building exercises, relationship tips, and relaxation information. Make sure to head over to dawningvisions.com to subscribe to the newsletter to receive your keys to happiness, as well as other useful free gifts for you.